In today's video I have a Akai stereo tuner, AT-2600 is the model. So similar to that old receiver I had a look at, but this is definitely just a tuner. Unfortunately someone scratched their license number and name into the front of it. Also got some writing on here where they've written down the stations. This is supposedly not working. Quite a nice old unit though, so it'd be interesting. I'd mainly just bought it as a display piece. It's quite filthy and stuff, but it'd be interesting to see what's actually wrong with it, if there is anything wrong with it. Get rid of this. Okay, I'll rubber band off the cord and see if this cord at least looks safe. I think it is. Always worth checking on these figure 8 ones. Someone's put an aftermarket plug on it, so whether it's an Australian one or not, made in Japan, 110 to 240 volts AC, preset to 220 volts, so it could be European or something. The guy's name looks a bit Greek, so you never know, they could have imported it, I don't know. Well, I've got a power light on, and that's it by the look of it. That red light there is lit up. Oh yeah, the meters do something, like signal deviation. Oh yeah, we're seeing some... Mind you, I don't have any signal on this thing. Oh, and the meter varies depending where I hit it. That's never a good sign. Okay, let's get some audio. We've got fixed and variable outputs, so these are good for using as a test device. And someone's got a, I don't know how well it's connected, but a 75 ohm antenna. Looks like they've used a video cable, so that's good. It's got the right socket on it. That's a mono. Oh, we've got a station. We've got stereo, we've got AFC coming up. Bit random. So it does have an FM muting. Shut up. Doesn't work very well, but there is an FM muting. Oh, there's a level control for it too. That's a bit weird. High blend off and on. No idea what that is. Deviation off and on. Oh, so maybe sets what the meter reads, either signal or deviation. So that's probably why it's dropping in and out. It's not, the muting doesn't seem to work the best, but maybe that's because we haven't got the level set right. So the muting does something. So it's got like a squelch control, I guess, where you can turn it on and off. Except it's not coming on. I thought the stereo setting would do that. So setting the threshold right is probably a bit... Oh, that's alright, I think. Now it's muting properly. Sort of. Yeah, it seems to be working. Oh. Occasionally unmuting on some rubbish. There should be a station around here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Yeah, now I've lost a couple of them, I think. So I'm over muting a bit. So yeah, we've got a deviation. Looks like we've got signal level or deviation. Not sure if that's frequency deviation or what that is. Deviation from the best tuning point, don't know. Or is it something to do with the actual FM signal itself? And what's this high blend thing? You're a shiny toy with a price, you know that Doesn't seem to do anything. Of course, we've got the output level control for the variable output. Guess we better check AM as well. Not great reception, but no, it's got a rod antenna. Can't really move it though. Not sure if that station's dead, or there should be one around there somewhere. But obviously the lights aren't working. I think this is basically a worker. But the one part I do want to work, which is the lights, are not going. So it would be nice to have it lit up, because that's all I want it for. Is basically a display piece. They look nice lit up at night, these sort of things. It's a bit weird giving all those features to the consumer, which is probably a bit confusing. Possibly why someone didn't think this thing was running properly. Oh yeah, we've got all the lights. Is that missing? No, it's in there. Looks like there might be some sort of wedge type globes. But nice big bit of perspex. Better turn the power off, I guess. Here we've got a fuse to set the... Well, someone has put it in the correct 240 volt place. Got a UPC 30C chip on the back there. That's where that level control or the outputs are. Oh, the actual tuning cap goes into that board. Oh, so it is here, maybe some front end stuff on there. Wow, look at this great big front end thing. So what do we got here? A tuning cap and another whole tuning unit. Is one for FM, one for AM. I can't say I've ever seen that in a tuner before. Or not in a long time, not that I remember, but a dual tuning arrangement. So I wonder if that wouldn't be a Varactor tuner in there, I assume. I'll have to take the cover off and see what the hell's in there. I'd assume it'd be two tuning caps. Nice big counterweight there. Makes it feel nice. Doesn't really run on much, this one, but it's certainly over-engineered in many ways. We've got Sanyo chips on this other board. LA3122, LA3350, LA1230. And a little power board. There's another lamp. I thought there must be another lamp for the meters. That's quite a large one. So I better find out what voltage. I think someone's replaced these. I think these original don't look original. The lamps up here, they would have been large ones like that, I think. But someone's fitted some little wedge type globes, the sort you find in like telephone panel meters and some switches and stuff. Those long thin ones with metal right up the sides, which we'll have a look at in a minute. I want to see what's inside this thing. Well, there goes the originality. I wrecked a bit of gaffer tape there on there. But might as well have a look inside this thing. It's certainly a bit better than your average tuner. Looking at the amount of electronics, that doesn't necessarily make it better, but see, the AM antenna, part of it goes over here as well, so maybe that is the AM tuning cap, the one out in the open. And this is the FM. So if we can get this out with that wire there, I bet we can't. Oh, that goes to the AM, yeah, definitely goes to the AM antenna, that bit. I think I might have to unsolder that. So it must have a completely separate, rather than a integrated tuning capacitor for both bands. Oh, I've got a white wire there, that doesn't help. Wow, that's a pretty snazzy front end for a consumer tuner. Or at least it looks the part. It's certainly over-engineered by the look of it. So that was the end one. And there you have it. Yeah, so definitely a tuning cap all down this side here. Got little trimmers on each gang, I guess. And yeah, there's a transistor down there. Various little adjustable inductors, almost probably like IF cans, but without the cans. That one's got a can on it, but they probably don't need it in this little metal box. So yeah, a bit over top engineering there. But yeah, just one semiconductor in there, I think. Oh, there's another besides the diode there. It's got the little through-hole capacitor things. I'll have to look underneath that as well, but that is quite interesting. And what does it say on here? TCR, TCA, TCRs, TCO, and then LA, LR123, LOIF. Oh, I should have that around the right way, it would help. Yeah, so that's the IF one, that big one in the can. I guess it's just bigger than the others because it has a can. And we had, looks like 4 short screws and 2 long ones. So I assume the 2 long ones are the ones on the top. But yeah, that's a lot of hardware really. So this wouldn't have been a cheap tuner in its day, I wouldn't think. I mean, the fact it's got extra knobs and functions on the front, variable output, all that sort of thing, means, you know, it's not a base model because someone had to pay extra money for all that stuff. And it's quite large. Oh, don't tell me that's not going to go in now. Didn't never really tighten anything up until you got all the screws in, I guess. Because it doesn't look like this is going to line up. No, it just needed a little bit of messing around. So yeah, it's always nice to see something that's got a bit more than just the basic model. But yeah, most people probably wouldn't know how to use for half those features. Unless you just want it to look impressive. Don't think a bit of tape's going to stick back on it. That's well and truly dried up. So let's have, I might as well pop the bottom off, I guess. I might as well inspect this thing fully. Bit bright for the camera though, I think. Quite a bit of corrosion on the bottom. Certainly not mint condition by any means. We've got Akai etched into the board there. Akai there. And some cobwebs. Spiders love living in everything. Yeah, every board's got Akai on it. There's the underside of that module. Got a 300 ohm balun on the back there, 75 to 300. And yeah, that's the underside. It looks more like a big television tuner or something. A lot of those through-hole, I'm sure there's another term for them, but those capacitors, like a ceramic capacitor with a feed-through capacitor, that's it, I think. Yeah, they're feed-throughs. I think it's a capacitor between the internal metal bit, which is just a pin right through the other side, and the case. So I guess they filter out any interference and stuff you don't want, something like that. Or keep a constant capacitance, not sure what the exact idea is, but they're often used in these sort of things where you've got a shielded box and you want to pass something through to the outside of it, or to the inside of it, depending on which way you look at it, I guess. Don't know what those little symbols are all over the fuse board there. But the soldering all looks to be in good condition still. I don't think we even had any scratchy pots or switches, but then again I didn't take that much notice. Now we've got the lamp issue to deal with, and that looks like an original one down there, the one for the meters. Can I get that to come out? Oh, yeah, there we go. So they're all in these big rubber holders. Now, I'm not sure if some of these were soldered in. I think most of them were soldered in, to be honest, but it may be, yeah, no, it's not a standard sort of globe, is it? Has it got any rating on it? Nothing. So that's a soldered in little, what would have been a bayonet globe just about, but they've soldered to it without the, didn't bother putting the bayonet pins on it. And then these look like someone's definitely messed with these. Like I say, they're these sort of wedge globes that you, Hayoshi, 12 volt at 20 milliamps. They're the sort of thing you'd find in switches, and I think they were originally telephone indicator lamps or something, or indicator lamps inside switches with illuminated push buttons on them. I guess we might as well pull a lot of those out. So they are a little bit more difficult to replace, potentially. I think I normally end up just putting the small 5mm lights in a lot of the time. The other option, I think, is these larger wedge lamps will fit in these. I think you can actually pop them in there and put pins out. It's all falling to bits, that one. I get a feeling you can solder onto those and just poke some of those in there. What does that say? Although that's a 6.3 volt, I think. Surely not. You wouldn't know what I've got lying around here. Yeah, 12 volt, 5 watt. They just say 20 milliamps. I think 5 watt ones are a bit too bright, because they're used in car instrument clusters and stuff. They shouldn't be that bright. One thing you can do with these is just hook a few different ones up and see what they look like. If I can get them out of the bag. Can't get them like solder to melt. This must have had a bit of use if it's blown or replacement lamps. Usually they last for many, many years. It's not uncommon for the first batch to die, the factory ones, but I don't think it's that common for the second batch to die. Normally they didn't get much use after that, but someone probably used this thing up until recently or something. I mean, no, that one is actually going. Oh, so they're actually running but very dim. So I wonder if they are, if it is actually 12 volts. Some of these were 8 volts, some were 6 volts. 6 volts is very rare in these sort of things, but it ain't DC, is it? It must be AC. Yeah, it's an 8 volt. Oh, that makes life very difficult. Might have to put 6 volts in with current limiting. Did I say one of these was a 6 volt? Not that one. I think that's the 6.3 volt. Ah, now that makes life difficult. Where does this wiring go? It all goes down here. Ground and these two terminals in the power supply. Don't know why 8 volts was so popular with the Japanese, but it was. Which wires is it? The white ones? It is that bunch of 4 white wires there, which are joined together. Then they go to a, oh no, not to a red wire, they go to a wire next to them. Orange wire. Oh, so that's the transformer. So it's direct out of the orange wire and the transformer into the lamps and then to ground. I have to put some heat shrink on that, I think, because it's just too risky for shorting things out otherwise. man. See, the problem is I can't, well, it doesn't matter I don't think, but I can't really push this back through the holes in that rubber bit if I've got heat shrink on it, because it's only just big enough for the wire. So we'll see how that works out. It does want to stick out a fair bit anyway, because you don't want the rubber blocking the light. So you don't want the LED sitting down in there, LED lamp sitting down in there. Now I've got LEDs on the brain. But LEDs will be a nice upgrade, but yeah, this is the hassle is, I guess this sort of thing you could probably even put axial lamps in there somewhere. I wonder if I could have just used 8-volt axial lamps poked in different parts of the perspex, putting their light into it. Now can I get that heat shrink back? Come on. So if I heat shrink that onto there, but yeah, it's kind of crazy that someone put 12-volt ones in there and just left them dim, so dim you couldn't even tell it was lit up. That's really weird stuff. I guess we can fiddle around. You could always put a blob of silicone or something to hold that, I guess. But I think that's what we'll do. I mean, that's brighter than it will be. I need to current limit. Well, I need to really put all the lamps. I keep saying LEDs. All the lamps in place, I think, and then see what the full current is, and drop the resistance relative to that. Okay, so I've got the 4 lamps wired in, and I tried to unsolder. For some reason they've soldered the wire wrap on there, but it was just got so hot in the end that it pulled out of the board, which is good enough. So I've got the multimeter set to current AC, 300 milliamps. Could be more than 300 milliamps, I guess. Who knows? But if we hook up to that and dag it onto the lights and make them light up, if I can hold it still. Yeah, maybe it is over range. I'm not sure what these little lamps pull. I wouldn't have a clue. I better be careful here because there's live mains there. And the power's on, so you don't want to go touching any of those fuse holders or anything. Oh, it's a bit over. So it's nearly 400 milliamps to 380 milliamps. So they're around 100 milliamps each of those lamps. Okay, so, and we need to lose 2 volts, don't we? So we've got 2 volts. What is it? EIR, 2 volts, 0.4. How many 0.4s in 2 volts? Well, it's about 2 per volt, so it's 4, so 5. It's definitely 5 because that's 20. So is that actually a 5 ohm resistor? Possibly. That's what it should be. So we want a 4.7, probably will need a 5 watt. So 5.6 ohm we got. So if I put that, so it's on the board, if I can without shorting anything else out. Okay, everything lights up. Make sure you get your multimeter out of the current setting or you'll blow something when you put that across the lamps. Now the voltage on the, we need the other side of it, so we need ground to the wires going up to the lamps. Just over 6 volts, I think that's good enough, 6.2. So 5.6 was going on the higher side. And yeah, we really need to turn all the lights off, I think, to appreciate that. But you can get an idea there, even though it's probably a bit out of focus. That's got everything lit up. Yeah, that's more like it. There you go, beautiful. And it's running at the proper voltage, so that should be pretty good. So all that really remains is to give this thing a clean up. I might even take the front panel off. I might see if I can get rid of some of that scratched in name there. And I'll have a look at it when it's all fully finished. And if you want to take the knob off the front of this, you need an Allen key. Not sure exactly what size that one is, but possibly about a 2mm, 1.5, something like that. And yeah, other couple of screws, take the knobs off, and this, I think because I've already took the bottom off, it should come off. Oh, I completely forgot about the little level knob. Helps if you take that off. What on earth have we got here? Oh, that's the LEDs for the... That's right, we've got LEDs for FM stereo AFC power. What weird looking things they are. They've got some sort of plastic pieces moulded to them, I think. Some foam in here, because the meters are stuck to the front. But all I really want to do is clean out any dust. Clean off the radio dial a bit, because that's looking rather dirty and dusty. Just being careful with the pointer. Usually best to clean a bit, put the pointer down that end, clean the rest. Yeah, quite a bit of dirt in there. Dirt on everything, as per usual. Clean all the shafts off. That's just some foam on the back of the... Some foam to hold, sort of press against the back of the meters. Yeah, the power knob, it definitely wants cleaning while I can get access to it, because that is filthy. And the little black piece that's meant to be stuck on the back there has come loose. So I guess I'm going to have to probably glue that, because otherwise it'll just fall in, I think. So that's another thing that often comes loose. And that's got dirt in the end of it. I think we're going to need our toothbrush for that. Because there's a depression on the end of the power switch knob. And yeah, that's got it. And I want to do the inside of the radio dial here, and I want to light up around the volume. Oh, it's not volume, it's tuning on this, isn't it? What am I thinking? So used to doing receivers lately, and I think I'll just use a bit of Aridite even on that will do. Should I clean the other side? Actually, one thing I can probably do before I even do that is a cotton bud in all the holes, because there's a lot of dust in those. I mean, the knobs cover the other ones up, so it doesn't really matter, but if you're gonna clean it, you might as well clean it. Yeah, we do see a little bit of these switches, I think. I don't think I can really get in there. I'm gonna have to flatten that cotton bud out a bit. Rubbing near those meters, it's quite dirty, because they've inset a little bit of aluminium with them on it, which is kind of weird design. I guess it looks a little bit better in a way though, but what a dust collector. It hasn't come up perfect, I think. It might be a little bit of corrosion or something there. And I'm going to do this whole piece along the tuning or the radio dial. Get the bottom of that clean, because that is filthy. And there's no way I was going to get in around that knob clean with the knob on. So if you want to ever clean one of these, you're going to have to take the knob off, the tuning knob that is. And it's always easier to clean the front panel with the other knobs off as well, and ideally with it off so that you don't have any shafts in the way or anything. Sounds a bit rude, this whole conversation so far, but get your shafts and knobs out of the way and you can work on it. Now we want a little bit of araldite. Just a tiny amount. And obviously make sure it only goes on the back bit, not through the front panel anywhere. Just a tiny amount needed. Probably smear most of that off. Actually want to clean that bit a little bit too. Okay, now I've got to get rid of all this stuff they put on there. I'll get the whole front panel clean, I guess, but they've labelled it with radio stations. Okay, I've given it a clean up. Came up pretty good. There's a few flaws here and there. I still haven't sorted out that name and license number, which might need a bit of sanding out or something. I don't know how much damage that'll do, but I might be able to. It's actually sticking out. It's quite rough to the feel, so that might need a bit of work, but there's still a little bit of dirt here and there. I even had to use a bit of polish to get rid of some of the writing on the brushed aluminium. It just would not come off. A couple of the knobs are still imperfect. There are a few little marks on them. That one's got a bit of corrosion. Tuning one's got a couple of rough patches on it. Yeah, a bit there. Again, with a bit more work it might come up a bit better. I checked the resistor in there and it doesn't even run warm. I left it running for maybe 15 minutes or something, not even warm to the touch. So I just left that the way I put it in there. Just sticking out that board like it was. I was going to move it a bit or get another one with a longer lead if it was warm and the plastic wiring touching it, but it seems to be fine. It's not going to get a lot of use anyway with me, just as a display thing. And about the only other thing I thought is, yeah, of course this plug is the wrong sort in that it doesn't have a cable strain for this, so you can, that moves in and out. This is a standard Australian plug. I mean, it does have these strain relief of course, but this is made for a round cable, and this thing they've tightened up here, and you can see how far they've screwed it on, doesn't do a thing really. You could maybe wrap some tape around it, make it a bit better, but they do make a version for figure 8 cable. And I've probably still got a couple lying around here. I used to use them quite a bit to repair power cords on things with bad plugs. So that's something you shouldn't, if you're going to sell it or anything, definitely don't leave that on there, because that's, you know, technically illegal. I mean, it doesn't even, now you've got to have all the insulated bits and stuff if you put a new one on, I think. So, but what they don't know about can't hurt them, I guess. But as long as you've got one that's got a, you really want that so that if someone pulls on it there, there's no way on earth it can tear out, even though when it does it's not gonna have any live wiring on it, let's face it, but best to be safe. Okay, I put the other lamps in this one, these little tiny ones, and it worked quite fine just as a display piece, but didn't seem quite bright enough to be a proper job, so I thought I probably should try and do a better job. And I seem to remember fixing these in the past, and Wagner Electronics had these little wedge type light globes in an 8-volt version, so I had a look and they do still have them, these WL1085s. They look a little milky or weird in there, but I thought, well, I was ordering some other parts, I might as well get some of those. I think you order one of that code and you get 5 lamps. I thought I'll get a couple of packs, so I've got some spare ones because I'm pretty sure other Akai stuff uses these things. Actually in 2 different bags that probably come from 2 different suppliers over time. They probably package these up themselves, might even be the case. They probably just change the bag they put them in. So we need, I think, 3 for this thing. But you can just solder onto the wires on these, and at least they push into the the rubber mounts properly, and I'm pretty sure they're a bit brighter and do a better job of lighting this thing up. I guess I could plug it in and do a before and after comparison, though the problem is I've got the camera set to auto, so it's going to kind of adapt to it regardless. So they're not particularly bright there, and yeah, lighting that up in this with the lights on, you can barely see it, which is probably a good indication. What the hell's on the back of that silly antenna? So yeah, to be honest, you can't really see it very well lit up there at all, which is kind of what I remember. It looks really good just in a dark room with a bunch of other tuners, but it wouldn't be a good enough repair to do for someone, so I thought, why don't I get the proper globes and we'll put them in. But what we can do is unsolder these. I'm gonna have to get rid of that resistor. It's been a while since I did it because I've just had the lamps lying around and just haven't been bothered doing it, because I mean it worked for what I want as it was. Now I think what I might do is just bend these wires out. You can just straighten them out. Great little thing for testing the whether the fuel injectors in your car are working or not, is you just bend the leads out straight on one of these, on one of the 12 volt ones out of a car, and poke them in the injector connector, and you can see all the little injectors pulsing, just if you're worried that they're not working for some reason. That is one use for a wedge lamp. And we should be able to get enough solder to kind of bridge across these two. I think they are. I might even squeeze them together because I want to be sure I've tinned them. So if you squeeze them together, you should get a blob of solder right down if it's tinned, which makes me think these aren't tinning too well. That one's done. This other one's a bit reluctant, I think. Yeah, that should bridge out nicely. So maybe these ones aren't as good as the old ones used to be for tinning. One side's, well, has it? It sort of has. Where's a knife? If in doubt, give them a scratch with a knife, if you can find one. Because sometimes these are like steel pins or something. I think a lot of the time, if you just give them a bit of a scratch, sometimes you've got to get them back to the underlying metal or something. Yeah, they're a little picky. It doesn't seem to be tinning quite as well as it should. That one's kind of fine on the end. It looks like it's tinning on the outside, but I can't. Oh, there we go. I'd like to get it to tin the end bit properly. I can probably fold these back around the body of the lamp. I'll put a little bit more on that one, but let's get the other one hooked up first so it doesn't go flying off again. I don't know what the best way to do it is. Let's pull it up through there and see what happens, because they're so long they're probably going to come out. I don't know, that's just perfect. They're not sticking out, and that should fit in there nicely. Oh no, it's still a little bit too long, so it does crash into the perspex a bit. I know there's something fiddly about these. I was bending them anyway, so let's probably fold them up on opposite sides and then bend the wires back. That should do it. You've got to do a little bit of a messy job there. Not that anyone's ever going to see it, and it's not going to affect anything other than making sure these, whoops, I went through too far. that does not want to properly come through. Silly thing, you just got to flick it a bit. That's already putting out substantially more light, I think, because it's got a much longer filament in it, which helps. So I'll get these other two in, and then yeah, I think we'll have to bypass that resistor I put in there and see how it goes. Okay, so there's a massive brightness difference here, really different. Chalk and cheese, really. Now you can really see that lit up in there. So much better. I'm going to check the voltage, I guess, just to make sure, but I'll remove that resistor I put in there. That's ground, and the orange wire. And well, it's not even quite 8 volts. Just watch all those fuses are probably 240 volt there. Never let your fingers stick out or anything working on these things live while they're powered up, because guaranteed to reach out and touch something nasty. Yeah, 7.8 volts. So perfect, and they're 8 volt lamps. They are nice and bright. Guess we'll put the lid back on it. So I'm not having to stare at all that light, but that should be going nicely into that perspex. That's more like what I remember them as. Even when the light's on, you can see it lit up a bit on the camera. Yeah, a lot of nice glow there. Possibly be too bright for what I'm using it for now, but don't think so. I think that should be pretty good. They didn't mess around in these days with, or in those days, with nice bright lights. They really made them light up. And it was always a nice touch, because if you've sort of been around this type of equipment when you're young and stuff, it always had that nice kind of glow to it, something about it. Something you don't get with the modern stuff. I guess a few people are probably a bit sentimental for it. I certainly don't mind it. I mean, we really only had a cassette player, I think. The VU meters, and maybe a reel-to-reel also with the VU meters lit up. I don't know if it even had VU meters on the reel-to-reel. It was only a fairly basic one, but possibly. But I've seen lots of old equipment. Of course, this was maybe not this stuff, but there was a lot of junk around when I was growing up in the 80s and stuff with these old sort of light up things. So I saw a bit of it. But yeah, that's a lot better. That should light up a beauty. I can't really turn the lights off completely, but yeah, that's really nice and bright. So I'll try that on the stack of radios. I'll chuck it back there. That's all I'm using it for, is just a display piece. But I thought it was probably worth getting the proper lamps. I know I've done them before in these Akais. So I've got a couple of spares out of that kit and another set, so I can do another 2 of them at least. I thought it might just be worth grabbing some extras. They're not that expensive. Since I'm collecting a bit of this old stuff now, at least I've got some lamps in stock then. That should get that one all going, so thanks for watching.